I don't think I've ever felt this good as a Lions fan, and I'm talking 2014 good. Mm-hmm. When Ndamukong Suh and Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford playing at their peak, those were good teams. This team is rivaling that team, maybe even better as the years progress here, because this young talent on this team is coming and showing out. Yesterday, after our show, I do the Lions pregame show. We did it with Jeff Iafrate yesterday.
What time do you do that, Maz?
We did that 11:01 yesterday.
Okay.
And did the pregame. Sam Flannel was here. Had a great time. A lot of people in the chat. We were doing all kinds of surveys and stuff. We talked about Jared Goff. So I go on my way home. I stop.
You guys stream had 13,000 views.
We did all right.
Yeah,
we did all right. Really good. On the way home, I hit B-Dubs up in my neighborhood.
St. Clair Shores,
St. Clair Shores, right on 9 and Harper. And I go in. Usually, I'm pulling in the parking lot. I got my choice of spots. I get right in the front. There wasn't a spot in the lot, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
I remember going there with you once last year after a pregame show.
Yeah.
It was us and two other tables.
Yeah. So I go, I get a spot. Someone's going out. I go in. It's like you went to the stadium, packed with Lion fans, and they're screaming at the TV, loving. I felt so excited as a Lions fan. I got the chills. I really did. I got my table. My girl waited on me, and it was awesome, man. Great win, Lions. Thank you. We're on the way.
So you mentioned 2014, and we were talking about this in the back prior to the show. I don't think, if you really put your heads together, I don't think, Braylon, that you will find a better Lions team in a decade for sure. I mean, that 2014 team, now again, I don't care what you say. I think that 2014 team could have won the Super Bowl. With Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and Ndamukong Suh. If they don't get screwed in Dallas on the pass interference penalty, I think they have a chance to at least get to the NFC Championship game and perhaps even make it to a Super Bowl. That's how strongly I feel about 2014. But this Lions team right now, Braylon Edwards, to me, is as good a Lions team as we have seen in at least 10 years, but you can go back to the early 90s. Yes. The way this team is built, where its strengths are, this is as complete a team as you will see. And it's not done with plug-and-play guys that you're getting on a one-year contract at the end of their career as a veteran to just fill it out. These are younger guys who are growing together, who are talented, and I think this team is going to win a Super Bowl together at some point. I don't know what year. Yeah. I don't know when they're going to do it. But I think this team has a chance to win a Super Bowl in the near future, relatively within a handful of years. I really believe that.
I believe now what you're saying is what Dan Campbell talked about last year when he first started in terms of what his vision was, what his plan was, what was the identity, how they wanted to be tough, how they wanted to be grit. You come into this season, you're thinking the same thing. You were excited early on in training camp. You thought that they would win 10 games. We'll get to that because you might be right. But, it's like, hey, this is what we're building. They didn't go out and get the free agents that were a little bit older, maybe at the end of the career, and pay money or spend money on those guys. They kept it young. They kept it with the guys that were there last year, the guys that struggled at 3-13-1, the guys that fought in December last year, and then in the whole offseason, like they came back early. We talk about this all the time, Ryan. They came back in March to get ready for this season. March is still cold as hell outside. It's still snowing here in Detroit. They came back. They're together. They're young. They're on a mission. And then you're Dan Campbell, guy that was on that team that was 0-16. You know how he feels about the Detroit Lions. And you know how he feels about what he wants to change from the ground up. And I think you're starting to see it, Ryan. I watched that game, and I was like, never at any point in the game did I think the Lions were going to lose. And I felt like it's the first game I saw, Ryan.
God, that's such a great point.
At no point did I think the Lions were going to lose. I knew that they would be okay. And the things that used to go against the Detroit Lions, T.J. Hockenson drops a wide open pass on third down. They get an offsides on the defense. Oh, here we go, 4th and 1. Minnesota, not so fast. They stop them.
That's the key to the game right there.
Exactly, that sequence. So those plays are now starting to go their way. They're believing in themselves. Man, nobody wants to play this Detroit Lions team right now. To be honest, Ryan, outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, The Lions are the most dangerous team in the NFL right now.
They might be, specifically in the NFC. And Braylon, I want to expound upon that point that you just made, because when was the last time you expected the Lions to do something and then they actually did it? They went
95,
They went out there as a favorite against the first place Minnesota Vikings, a 10-2 team. And however you feel about the Minnesota Vikings, they did win 10 games. They are the 2 seed in the NFC, and they went out and dominated that game. And you know what was even more impressive than that? They didn't play their best game, man. They had so many mistakes.
Hit the nail on the head.
That first touchdown drive that Minnesota scored, Minnesota didn't do anything on that offensive series. The entire drive was penalties against the Lions. When you don't have to play your best football game and you can still beat a team like that, I think that speaks to the confidence this football team is playing with right now. I do think they're as dangerous as anybody in the NFC, and heaven forbid they get in the playoffs, because there's a lot of excited people around here, and this team, the moment is not too big for them. The moment isn't huge.
Because they're together. Because they play together. Because they are a team. Because they're young guys, they're a team, and they believe heavily and Dan Campbell and what he's teaching and what he's telling these guys to do. Like, Ryan, when you watch this, now people talk about there's no moral victories. You don't believe in moral victories.
No more.
And you're not supposed to. But let me add a caveat to that. Lions are 5-6 in their last 6 games, correct? Mm-hmm. Now the Detroit Lions believe in themselves. They're like, no, we can do this. Like, we can finish games. We can be a team. We can sneak in the playoffs. Now the Lions can go back, the players, and be like, yo, we almost beat Philly when we weren't ready. Yo, we should have beat the Seattle Seahawks, but we weren't ready. We should have beat the Minnesota Vikings twice. Now that they're winning,
they should have beat the Cowboys on the road.
Should have beat the Cowboys
at the 1 yard line.
Should have beat the. So, like, now that you're winning, now that you know how to win, now that you're closing games, now you can start looking at that like, yeah, we'll see you guys again. You guys don't want to play this team now. Ryan Ermanni, first time I made it to the playoffs with the New York Jets in 2009. We made it in, Maz. You're a Jets fan. We made it by the skin of our teeth. We made 9-7.
Those are the trouble teams.
100%. 9-7, Mass. We get into the playoffs, Ryan and Monty. Nobody wanted to play us. In the first round, we beat the hell out of Cincinnati Bengals. Scrappy team, good players, but we believed in each other. Second round, we got to go out to L.A., and we got to play the number 2 seed in the playoff with the AFC. It's the San Diego Chargers. Yep. And guess what happened? Beat their ass, too. And then we had to go against Indianapolis Colts. We should have beat them. We didn't. But we were a dangerous team because we were grit, we were grinding, and we almost got to the Super Bowl.
Lions have a 20% chance now of making the playoffs, and they're down to plus 270 now on the Vegas line to make the playoffs. Plus 270. That's how low it's gotten.
You know what I don't have time for today, and I really don't, because
negativity about the Lions?
Well, yeah, that's part of it, but if you can't watch this football team and really appreciate what they're doing right now and how they're playing, you know, the old stop drinking the Kool-Aid, or wait till they break your hearts, or they've been rebuilding since 1957 or stuff like that. I mean, I guess you can do that if you want, but I would tell you as a fan, you're not letting your eyes tell you the story. You're letting something else dictate the story, and you're not watching the football team that has been assembled and playing currently right now and winning games and really taking the NFL by the pants.
This ain't your father's line.
No, your grandfather's.
No, this isn't my stepfather, CP. Another exciting loss. It's not that anymore. Nope. Ryan, when you look at this Detroit Lions team, man, you look and see what they're doing. They're winning games. They're being disciplined. They're legitimately out-manning and physical the other team. The other teams are scared of the Detroit Lions right now. Look at all they've been through. Jared Goff. Every other day we're talking about getting Bryce Young or getting Hendon Hooker or getting the next guy. You know what Jared Goff says? All right, whatever you guys want to do. 334 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, look at Aiden Hutchinson. If you want to be honest, I'm sorry, Maz.
No.
If you want to be honest, now you can go back and kind of make excuses. Think about the Detroit Lions at the start of the year. DeAndre Swift got hurt first game. And he wasn't the same for, 6-7 weeks? Amon-Ra St. Brown got hurt game 3. and he wasn't the same for about 3 games. Aiden Hutchinson got hurt in the win against the Commanders. He wasn't the same for about 3-4 weeks. Guys were going out. Now, guys are healthy. Guys are back. And you're seeing what they can do when everybody is together and the nucleus, man, I'm telling you.
I watched the game yesterday, and I'm watching them, and they get a penalty, and it's like 1st and 20, 1st and 15. And they're making the plays.
Yeah.
The third down, what'd they make, 60% of their third down?
That's how you win in the NFL.
That's how you win.
45% is the goal, man.
Yeah.
Like 42 to 45 is what teams aspire to be. 65? That's dangerous territory.
I'm telling you guys.
7 of 15 third down efficiency yesterday.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just under 50%.
Yeah.
It's
over
phenomenal.
50%.
Well, 7 of 15. 7 of 14 is 50%.
Yeah, said over 50%.
That's under 50%. 7 to 15.
Oh, yeah. You're
Just
right.
a tad under. I thought it was around 16.
That's that growth point South education.
It was close. You know what?
Not the Michigan one.
They made a lot of third down
That's that
conversions.
Yeah.
They made a lot of third down conversions.